Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Deepak Sinha and welcome to the Sinha classes. This is my fifth session with you for the placement preparation and today we are going to discuss about the nested loop. Uh, you see, I got a very overwhelming response from your side about my content and this channel. Today we are going to discuss about this nested loop. So let me just set the background. What we mean by nested loop? So when you are trying to use a loop within a loop, right? Means there will be one outer loop and inside the loop there is another loop. Then we are calling it as nested loop. You may use more than one loops at a time. There is no problem. But when you are using loop inside a loop, then we are calling it as nested loop. Otherwise, you may use one loop, then two loop, and three loop, and if all these three, four loops are not interacting to each other, then we can't call it as nested loop. So nested loop meaning is, you see here in this in this image, you can see here there is one loop, loop one. This is outer loop, and inside this there is another loop. So this situation we are calling it as nested loop, meaning it is something like that. Here there is one loop, here there is a loop. Let us see, here there is a for loop. Inside for loop again you're writing a loop here like this. So this is our outer loop, this is outer loop, and this is inner loop. This is outer loop and this is inner loop. Fine. So this type of when we need such a situation, when we need to apply a loop inside a loop, then we are calling it as you see, nested loop. And as I told you earlier, we are not going to discuss the basics of this all, because this channel is not all about the basics. So today we are going to discuss the nested loop. So let me start the setting the background of the nested loop. So I'm going to use very small, means very easy problem just to set the background. So let us take a situation, which means a problem is like this. We need to print like this pattern: 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and 5. You see, this is the output we need to give, this pattern, right? Now if you see this question, the first line is printing only one. This is first line, this is second line, this is third line, this is fourth line, this is fifth line, right? So first line, when this is first line, it is printing only one number, that is 1. When this is second line, it is printing 2, 1 and 2. The third line is printing 1 2 3. The fourth line is printing 1 2 3 4, and 5 line is printing 1 2 3 4 5, right? So here what we are going to do, we are going to use a loop to tell which line we are printing, right? Means which line you are, right? You are in first line or second line or third line or fourth line. So if you are in first line, it will print 1. If you are in second line, it will this inner loop will run 2 times and it will print 1 and 2. If you are in third line, the inner loop will work for 3 times, 1 2 and 3. Fourth line, the inner loop will run 4 times, 1 2 3 4. And fifth line, the inner loop will run 1 2 3 4 5. And finally the outer loop is going to break and you will come out of the you see, problem. Fine. So how to do? You see, to code it, I'm just not going to the coding part directly. So we can do like this. We can do like this. So let us say here I'm writing for I equals 1, right? I less than equals 5. The loop will start from 1 and the maximum number of line is 5, right? Here there is increment plus plus I. Fine. Now the inner loop will run as per the outer loop. If the value of first line is 1, so the inner loop will run only one time. So we can start inner loop like j is equal to 1, then j should less than equal to the number of the outer loop, and outer loop is what? I, right? So here I can write less than equals I and then plus plus j. Fine. So what to do? You need to print printf percentage d, that is we need to print j. Remember, the outer loop, the value I is going to tell you which line you are printing. If it is 1, the inner loop will run, this j loop will run one time. If it is 2, the value of I is 2, then it will run 2 times, right? If it is 3, the value of I is 3, then this loop will run 3 times. Fine. So this is inner loop, and finally you need to change the line. So outer loop we are writing /n, it will change, and this is going to work to print this pattern. So let me go to the coding part and let me show you, right? So here I am writing for integer I equals 1, I less than equals 5. Why? Because we need to print 5 lines. Plus I. Okay. Then the inner loop for integer j equals 1. It will start from 1, of course, and it will go less than equals number of line. So number of line means if the value in the first value, the value of I is 1, right? In the second time, the outer loop, the value of I will be 2. So j is less than equals I, and then plus j. Fine. And now what we need? We need to print. What we need to print? We need to print j percentage d, that is, it's not printf, it is printf, and then that is j. Okay. And then we need to, after printing a line, you need to come to the next line. So in the outer loop we are writing /n. Okay. So okay, I think it's okay. Okay. So you see, this is outer loop. The value of I is going to tell how many times the inner loop will run, right? In the beginning, the value of I is 1, right? So this loop will run one time from 1 to 1, and the value of j will print 1. Next time, the value of I will be 2. So this loop will run 2 times and it's going to print value 1 and 2. In the third time, the value of I is 3. So this loop will run 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Next time 4, this will run 4 times, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5, right? So let me run it and let me show you the output. Then we'll discuss further. I think, yeah, here there is semicolon missing, right? So this semicolon is missing. Let me run it. And you see, the output is 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We already seen it here, right? We already seen it here. You see, we already seen it here. This all definition, and with loop also we seen it here. So this is the code. Now it's simple. Means if we are trying to write like this, let me ask you a question. Now what I am trying to do? I am trying to do like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, and finally 1. Same, right? Now the problem is same. What I did, I simply reverse the order, right? Simply I just reverse the order. So in the first time, this loop will run 4 times, 5 times. Second outer loop will run. Second time it will run 4 times. Third 3 times. Next 2 times, and then 1 time, right? So the problem is remain same. What we discussed right now. Simply you are supposed to reverse the order. Fine. So how to do? Very easy. You just reverse the order. I is equal to 5, outer loop, I is equal to 5, I not equal to 0, because it's going to do decrement minus I. Okay. But this we are not going to, you see, change. What we change? Simply we changed outer loop. Why? We need to print first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1, right? So you see, I just simply change the outer loop to run from 5 to 1. 5 to 1, right? So in the beginning, what will happen? The value of I is 5. So this loop will run 5 times, 1 to 5. It is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next time it is I plus plus, then this loop, the value of I is 4. So this loop will run 4 times. It is going to print 4. Likewise, it will print till 1, right? So let me run it. And you can see the output is like this. Fine. The output is like this. Okay. Next one easy problem. Same only we are trying to take. This time what we are trying to print, see thoroughly. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. What do you think? For how we are going to proceed? You see, first line it's printing only one. Second line it is printing 2 times but 2 2. Third time 3 times 3 only. Fourth line 4 times 4. Fifth line 5 times 5. Right. So you see again it's not a very tricky question, easy one. If you remember what we did in the first question. In first question we have written like this. We have written like this. For I equals 1, there is 5 line, right? I less than equals 5 plus I, and then for j equals 1, j less than equals I plus j, and then we have printed j here, right? So what it is printing? It is printing j from 1, then 1, 2, right? Then 1, 2, 3, something like that. If we are going to print here, print a percentage d, that is I, then what will happen? This loop will run first, in the first loop, first time it will run 1 time, then 2 times, then 3 times, then 4 times, then 5th time. And every time it is going to print I only, right? I only. So the value of I is fixed. Understood? The value of I is fixed. So it's going to print, in the first line it's going to print 1, the value of I. In the second loop, this loop will run 2 times, but it will print the value of I. So it will print 2, 2, then 3, 3, 3, then 4, 4 times, and then 5, 5 times, then 5, 5 times, right? 5, 5 times. Okay. So let me show you through code. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you, I told you, let us do it like I is equal to 1, I less than equals 5 plus I, okay, j is equal to 1, j less than I, okay, it's fine. Here, don't print j, print I, right? Print I. So what will happen? This loop will run in the for value of I1, it will run 1 time, but it is going to print I. So this will print 1 time I. Next time this loop will run 2 times, 1 and 2, right? But it is going to print 2 times the value of I, right? The value of I. So the value of I is in second loop 2. So it will print 2 times 2. In third time, this loop will run 3 times, but every time it's going to print the value of I, and the value of I third time is 3, right? So it will print 3, 3, 3, right? So I guess my explanation is clear. Let me show you the output. You see, right? Fine. Now, if I'm going to ask you, that reverse, now it's easy, right? You understood the concept. If I'm going to ask like this, 5, 5 times, then 4, 4 times, then 3, 3 times, then 2, 2 times, and 1, right? I guess it's easy now. You got the idea, right? So what to do? Very easy one. Just make this loop reverse, the outer loop reverse, right? I is equal to 5, I not equal to 0, and make it I minus minus, fine, print I only, and you see what is going to happen. This, the value of I is 5 in the beginning, right? The value of I is 5 here it's 5, okay, and this loop will run from 5 to 0, 5 to 1, right? It will break at 0. So when the value of I is 5, this loop will run 5 times, and if this loop is going to run 5 times, every time it's going to print the value of I, and in the beginning the value of I is 5, so it's going to print 5 times, then 4 times, then 3 times, 2 times, and 1 times. Let me show you the output. You see, right? Now, okay. So let me run the code first, and then I'm going to discuss it, right? So let me run the code. You see, easy one, really very easy one. What I did, I'm telling you. You see here, I started a loop from 5 because the number of line is 5. Okay, let me discuss. Let me discuss. So what we can do, we can write a loop for I equals 5. I not equal to 0. Okay, plus, so not plus plus, minus minus I. Fine. Next loop, what I'm doing, for j equals I, listen thoroughly. Then j not equal to 0, right? Then minus minus j, you see. And then I'm printing I, right? Printf percentage d, that is j, not I. Okay, j. And then printf new line. Now see how it is working. For the first time, the value of I is 5. So this loop will run 5 times, right? This loop will run 5 times from 5 to 1. You see, the j is equal to I. So here it is 5. So this will run from 5 to 1. You see, this is going to print 5 to 1. Next time, what will happen? The value of I will be 4. So this loop will run, inner loop will run 4 to 1, right? So it's going to print 4 to 1, then 3 to 1, then 2 to 1, and finally 1, right? So this is the logic behind this, and this is the code. Let me run the code and let us see whether it is working perfectly or not, right? So let me run the code. You see, it's working fine. There is no problem at all. Fine. Now somebody will ask you that how to reverse it. Somebody may ask you that how to reverse it, right? 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? 1, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So this is how we are trying to proceed. Okay. So what we can change in the code? What we can change in the code? You see, this outer loop, we can start from 1 till less than equals 5, because we are trying to run this 5 times. This will be plus plus I. Yeah, it's working perfectly, right? So what I did, very easy. I simply change the outer loop to run from 1 to 5, and inner loop is remain same. It will run from, let us suppose if it is 1, then it will run from 1 to 1. If it is 2, then it will run from 2 to 1. If it is 3, then the inner loop will run 3 to 1. And if it is 4, then the inner loop will run from 4 to 1. And if it is 5, then the inner loop will run from 5 to 1. So I guess this question is also clear. Here is, let us take 1, 2. Then 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see the logic first. Fine. Logic is, we have already discussed this. You see, we have already discussed this problem. So you know how to do. You see, somewhere we have discussed this in the beginning only, right? You see, here we discuss. So you know the logic. You're knowing the logic. No problem. So if you want to print like this, you see, to print this, just try to see here in the In the fifth line, there is no blank space. In the fourth line, there is one blank space. In the third line, there is two blank space. In the second line, there is three blank space. In the first line, there is four blank space, right? So before printing it, you see, this is before printing this, you need to print blank space first. Fine. So what is the logic behind blank space? If you see, if the total number of line is 5, so here it is fourth line, here this is 3 line, here this is second line, and here this is first line, right? So how to print this blank space? Total number of lines is 5 minus current, right? So 5 minus current line, 5 minus current line is 5, so 0, so there is no blank space. Total number of line is 5 and just minus it with first line, so there is 4, so you need to print 4 blank space. If total number of line is 5 and you are at second line, so you need to print how much? 3 blank spaces. If total number of line is 5 and current line is 3, so you need to print 2 blank spaces. If total number of line is 5 and you are at fourth line, so you need to print 1 blank space. So this is logic. First of all, you will have to print blank space and then you can print the number. Very simple. So just simply integrate the blank space with this pattern, you'll get the answer. So let me go to the coding part and let me write the code, right? For the, you see, okay, let me edit it. So I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 1 and j less than equals what? I plus j, and here we are printing. Yeah, this is the first question which we discussed, right? So let me run first and then we'll see how to print blank space, how to put blank space. You see, this is the basic. Now we want to put blank space. Fine. So we need to put here one more loop for the blank space. Integer k equals 1, k less than equals number of line, right? Total number of line. So k less than equals what? Total number of line is 5. So 5 minus current line. So current line is I, right? 5 minus I plus k. So what to do? Simple. Print blank space. Printf what? Blank space. Okay. What is going to do? You see, if you are in the first line, right? So the value of I is 1. So this loop will run from 1 to, you see, 4. 5 minus I. So this will run 4. So this is going to print 4 blank space before printing anything. Second time this will run 3 times, then 2, and finally, you see, it will not print any blank space. So let me run and then we can discuss. Fine. So I did one mistake. I did a mistake. Yeah. Okay. I did a mistake. Let me write it here. Yeah, perfect. You see, so this is the way we can just solve it. Just to add one more loop for this blank space. In this way, we can just take one more question before concluding this session. So let me take one more question, right? And the question is like this. You see, here there is 1 star, right? Here there is 3 stars. Here there is 5. Fine. Here there is 7. And here there is 9. How to do it? Again the same. This is fifth line, this is fourth, this is third, this is second, and this is 1. Here there is 1 blank space, here there is 2 blank space, here there is 3 blank space, and here there is 4 blank space. right? Same concept. So this is 5 minus total number of line, 5 minus current line number, that is 0 space, 5 minus 4, that is 1, 5 minus 3, that is 2, 5 minus 2, that is 3, 5 minus 4, that is 5 minus 1, not 4, 5 minus 1, that is 4, right? So this is the logic through which we can get the blank space. And now come to the star. You see, in first line there is 1, in second line there is 3, right? So we can do one thing, we can do like this. 2 2 into number of line, number of current line, right? Current line minus 1. Let us see. So 2, and if you are in the first line, 2 into 1 minus 1. So how, what it will print? It will print 1, right? So this loop, this is going to print one time star, right? Second, in the second line, 2 into 2 minus 1, that is 3. Third line, 2 into 3 minus 1, that is 5. Fourth line, 2 into 4 minus 1, that is 7, and finally 2 into 5 minus 1, that is 9, right? So with this logic we can print the star, and with this logic we can print the blank space, right? So let me go to the coding part, right? So coding part will be like this. This is blank space is okay. Now we need to print star, right? So star is, let us take j, okay. So j should less than equals what? 2 into number of current line, that is I, right? I, 2 into I, and I need to put minus 1, right? Minus 1. Okay. And here we don't want to print any value, right? So we need to print what? Star. Star. Okay. I guess this is going to work perfectly. So let me run it. Yeah, it is running perfectly. You see, it's running perfectly. Fine. It's running perfectly. Okay. So if you want to just reverse it, no problem. Reverse the loop. I is equal to 5. I not equal to 0. I not equal to 0. Minus minus I. And let the rest code be same. No problem. Fine. Run it. You see? Perfect. Right? So this is the logic through which we are going to print some pattern, and this is the first session with me for the nested loop. And today I try to just set the background of the nested loop. In the next session, I'll meet you. I'm going to come with some more interesting question for the placement preparation on the nested loop. Today's session is just to set the background of the nested loop. Thank you, thanks a lot, and really I appreciate your you see your response and your messages. I am getting some calls also, mails also. Really, it is going to, you see, give me energy to make more session on this. So thank you, thanks a lot, and don't forget to subscribe and give comment on my channel. Thank you once again.